Understanding people is one of the most important skills in life. Every day, you deal with different personalities, different emotions, and different intentions. Some people are honest, some are not. Some support your growth. Some slow it down. If you cannot recognize these differences clearly, you may end up making decisions that hurt your progress without even realizing it. This audiobook is not about judging others. It is about seeing human behavior more clearly and responding with wisdom. It will help you understand how people think, how they react, and why they behave the way they do in different situations. More importantly, it will show you how to stay grounded, disciplined, and focused on your own improvement while dealing with others. Inside this journey, you will learn how to observe behavior without emotional confusion. You will learn how to protect your mindset, build stronger awareness, and avoid common mistakes in judgment. You will also see how small daily habits shape not only your character, but also the way people respond to you. Each chapter is designed to be practical and usable in real life. No complicated ideas, no unnecessary words. Just clear lessons that can help you think better, act better, and grow stronger every day. If you stay with this, you will not only understand people better, you will also understand yourself more deeply. And that awareness can change the way you live, decide, and move forward in life. Chapter 1. Build daily habits that strengthen your mind and character. Every day you wake up with a quiet choice in front of you. It does not look dramatic. It does not feel like a turning point. Yet it is one of the most important decisions you will ever make. You can either live the day on autopilot, reacting to whatever comes your way, or you can take control and build habits that shape your mind and your character. Most people underestimate how much their daily actions define their future. They wait for motivation, for a better mood, or for the right moment. That moment rarely comes. What truly changes a life is not one big decision, but the small actions repeated every single day. Your mind is shaped by what you feed it. Your character is shaped by what you repeatedly do. If you allow your days to be filled with distraction, hesitation, and inconsistency, your mind becomes weak and scattered. Your character becomes unreliable. But if you choose simple, disciplined habits, your mind becomes clear and focused. Your character becomes strong and dependable. This is not about perfection. It is about direction. Every day, your habits either move you forward or keep you stuck. Start by understanding that habits are built through repetition, not intensity. You do not need to make extreme changes. You need to make consistent ones. A small habit done every day is more powerful than a big effort done once. When you wake up, the first hour sets the tone for your entire day. If you start with distraction, your mind becomes reactive. If you start with intention, your mind becomes focused. A simple habit like waking up at the same time every day can build discipline. Sitting in silence for a few minutes can bring clarity. Writing down your priorities can give your day direction. You may feel resistance at first. Your mind will try to pull you back into comfort. It will suggest that skipping one day does not matter. It will tell you that you deserve a break. This is where character is built. Not in moments of ease, but in moments of resistance. When you act despite not feeling like it, you strengthen your self-control. Each time you follow through, you send a message to yourself that you are someone who does what needs to be done. Pay attention to your thoughts. Most people do not realize how much their thoughts influence their actions. If your mind is filled with doubt, you will hesitate. If your mind is filled with excuses, you will avoid effort. But if you train your mind to focus on what you can control, your actions become stronger. A practical step is to notice negative thoughts without reacting to them. When a thought like "this is too hard" appears, do not accept it as truth. Recognize it as a passing thought. Then bring your focus back to the task in front of you. Discipline is not about forcing yourself harshly. It is about training yourself steadily. Think of it as building a relationship with yourself. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, that relationship becomes stronger. Each time you break it, it becomes weaker. Start with small promises that you can keep. For example, decide that you will read for 10 minutes every day, or decide that you will take a short walk every morning. Keep these promises no matter what. Over time, these small actions build trust in yourself. Your environment plays a powerful role in your habits. If your surroundings are filled with distractions, it becomes harder to stay focused. If your environment supports your goals, it becomes easier to stay consistent. Look at your daily surroundings. Remove what pulls you away from your goals. Add what supports your growth. If you want to read more, keep a book within reach. If you want to reduce screen time, keep your phone out of sight during focused work. These small changes can make a big difference. Another important habit is managing your time with intention. Time is limited, but many people treat it as if it is endless. They spend hours on activities that do not move their life forward. At the end of the day, they feel unfulfilled. A practical step is to plan your day in advance. Decide what matters most and focus on that first. Even if you complete just one meaningful task, you have made progress. Over time, these focused efforts create real results. Your physical state affects your mental state. When your body is tired and inactive, your mind becomes sluggish. When your body is active and energized, your mind becomes sharp. You do not need an intense routine. A simple habit like moving your body daily can improve your focus and mood. It can be a short walk, light exercise, or stretching. The goal is not perfection. The goal is consistency. Another habit that strengthens your mind is learning continuously. Growth does not happen by chance. It happens through effort. Set aside time each day to learn something new. It can be reading, listening to an audiobook, or studying a skill. Even a small amount of learning each day can lead to significant improvement over time. This habit keeps your mind active and open. Pay attention to how you respond to challenges. Life will not always go as planned. There will be setbacks, delays, and unexpected problems. Your response to these situations defines your character. If you react with frustration and blame, you lose control. If you respond with calm and focus, you maintain control. A practical step is to pause before reacting. Take a breath. Ask yourself what you can control in that moment. Then take action based on that. Gratitude is another habit that strengthens your mind. It shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present. This does not mean ignoring problems. It means balancing your perspective. Each day, take a moment to acknowledge something you are grateful for. It can be something simple. This habit helps you stay grounded and positive, even during difficult times. Consistency is the foundation of all habits. Many people start with energy, but lose it quickly. They expect fast results and become discouraged when progress is slow. Real change takes time. The key is to stay consistent, even when results are not visible. Trust the process. Each small action is building something within you. Even when you do not see immediate results, you are becoming stronger and more disciplined. Avoid the trap of comparing yourself to others. Everyone is on a different path. When you compare, you shift your focus away from your own growth. Instead, focus on your own progress. Ask yourself if you are better than you were yesterday. Improvement is not about being perfect. It is about being better than before. Another powerful habit is reflection. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to review your actions. Ask yourself what you did well and what you can improve. This is not about judging yourself harshly. It is about learning. When you reflect honestly, you become more aware of your patterns. This awareness allows you to make better choices. Your character is built through your actions when no one is watching. It is easy to act with discipline when others are present. It is harder when you are alone. This is where true strength is developed. Hold yourself to a standard, even when there is no external pressure. This builds integrity. It creates a strong foundation for your life. There will be days when you feel tired, unmotivated, or distracted. These days are part of the process. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Take action anyway. Even a small effort on a difficult day keeps your momentum. It shows that you are committed. Over time, this consistency becomes a habit, Your habits shape your identity. When you act with discipline daily, you begin to see yourself as a disciplined person. When you act with focus, you begin to see yourself as a focused person. This identity reinforces your actions. It creates a cycle of growth. The key is to start with small actions and repeat them consistently. Be patient with yourself. Growth takes time. There will be mistakes along the way. Do not let them stop you. Learn from them and continue. Progress is not always visible, but it is happening. Each day you choose discipline. You are building a stronger version of yourself. Take control of your inputs. What you watch, read, and listen to affects your mind. Choose content that supports your growth. Avoid content that drains your energy or fills your mind with negativity. This is a simple but powerful habit. It shapes your thoughts and influences your actions. Build routines that support your goals. A routine removes the need for constant decision-making. It creates structure in your day. For example, you can have a morning routine that includes quiet time, planning, and movement. You can have an evening routine that includes reflection and preparation for the next day. These routines create stability and consistency. Focus on progress, not perfection. Perfection creates pressure. Progress creates momentum. Aim to improve a little each day. Even a small improvement adds up over time. The goal is not to be flawless. The goal is to keep moving forward. Take responsibility for your actions. Do not blame circumstances or other people. You may not control everything that happens, but you control how you respond. This mindset gives you power. It allows you to take action and create change. Stay aware of your energy. Notice what gives you energy and what drains it. Adjust your habits accordingly. Spend more time on activities that support your growth. Reduce time on activities that do not serve you. This awareness helps you use your time and energy wisely. Surround yourself with people who support your growth. The people around you influence your habits and mindset. Choose to spend time with those who encourage discipline and improvement. If that is not possible, seek inspiration through books and learning. Build resilience by facing discomfort. Growth often requires stepping outside your comfort zone. This can feel uncomfortable, but it is necessary. Each time you face discomfort, you become stronger. You build confidence in your ability to handle challenges. Keep your goals clear. When you know what you are working toward, your actions become more focused. Write down your goals and review them regularly. This keeps you aligned and motivated. It reminds you why your habits matter. Do not underestimate the power of rest. Rest is not a sign of weakness. It is necessary for recovery and clarity. Balance your effort with proper rest. This helps you stay consistent over the long term. Your journey is built one day at a time. Do not rush the process. Focus on what you can do today. Take one step forward, then repeat it tomorrow. Over time, these steps create meaningful change. At the end of the day, your life reflects your habits. If you want a better life, build better habits. Start small, stay consistent, be patient, trust the process. Each day you choose discipline, you are shaping your future. There is no need to wait for a perfect moment. The moment you have right now is enough. Take action. Do something that moves you forward. Keep it simple. Keep it consistent. This is how you build a strong mind and a strong character. Your future is not decided by chance. It is built through your daily actions. Choose habits that support your growth. Commit to them. Stay consistent. Over time, you will see the results, not just in what you achieve, but in who you become. And that is the real goal. Not just success, but growth. Not just results, but character. When you focus on building daily habits that strengthen your mind and your character, everything else begins to fall into place. Chapter 2. Track small wins to stay focused and motivated. Most people lose motivation not because they are weak, but because they cannot see their progress. They work hard for days or weeks, yet nothing feels different. The results are too far away, too slow to appear. This creates doubt. It creates frustration. Over time, it leads to quitting. What they fail to understand is that progress is happening, but they are not paying attention to it. Small improvements are easy to ignore, Yet they are the foundation of every meaningful result. Tracking small wins changes how you experience your efforts. It brings clarity to your journey. Instead of waiting for a big outcome, you begin to notice the small steps that move you forward. This shift is powerful. It keeps your mind engaged. It builds confidence. It gives you a reason to continue even when the final result is not visible yet. A small win is any action that moves you in the right direction. It does not need to be impressive. It only needs to be real. Waking up on time is a win. Finishing a task you planned is a win. Staying calm in a difficult situation is a win. These moments may seem ordinary, but when you recognize them, they become meaningful. They remind you that you are making progress. Start by changing how you measure success. Many people focus only on outcomes. They think success means achieving a big goal. This mindset creates pressure. It makes every day feel like it does not count unless something major happens. Instead, measure your actions. Focus on what you did today that aligns with your goals. This gives you immediate feedback. It allows you to see progress in real time. One practical way to do this is to write down your wins at the end of each day. Keep it simple. Take a few minutes and list 3 things you did well. Be honest and specific. Do not dismiss small actions. If you completed a task you were avoiding, write it down. If you stayed focused for an hour, write it down. If you made a better choice than yesterday, write it down. This practice builds awareness. It trains your mind to notice progress instead of ignoring it. At first, you may struggle to find wins. This is normal. Your mind is used to focusing on what is missing or what went wrong. Stay patient. Look closely at your actions. You will begin to see that progress is there, even if it is small. Over time, this becomes easier. Your mind starts to shift. It begins to look for improvement instead of failure. Tracking wins also strengthens your discipline. When you see evidence of your efforts, you are more likely to continue. It creates a sense of accountability. You know that your actions will be reviewed at the end of the day. This encourages you to stay consistent. It pushes you to follow through on your commitments. Another important benefit is increased focus. When you define what a win looks like, you give your day direction. You are no longer moving without purpose. You know what actions matter. This reduces distractions. It helps you stay aligned with your goals. Instead of reacting to everything around you, you act with intention. It is important to keep your wins connected to your values. Do not track actions that do not matter to you. Focus on what truly improves your life. This could be your work, your health, your learning, or your relationships. When your wins reflect what you care about, they become more meaningful. They motivate you to continue. Avoid the trap of perfection. Some days will not go as planned. You may feel that you did not achieve enough. In these moments, it is easy to ignore your progress. Do not fall into this pattern. Even on difficult days, there are small wins. Maybe you showed up when you did not feel like it. Maybe you made one better choice. These actions count. They show resilience. They deserve recognition. Be honest with yourself when tracking your wins. Do not exaggerate. Do not give yourself credit for things you did not do. The purpose of this practice is not to feel good without effort. It is to build real confidence based on real actions. When you know your wins are genuine, they become powerful. They strengthen your belief in yourself. Consistency is more important than intensity. You do not need to have a perfect day to make progress. You need to take small steps every day. Tracking wins helps you see this clearly. It shows you that steady effort leads to improvement. This builds patience. It helps you stay committed over time. Your mindset will begin to change as you continue this practice. Instead of focusing on how far you have to go, you will start to appreciate how far you have come. This creates a sense of momentum. It keeps you moving forward. It reduces the urge to quit. You begin to trust the process. Another practical step is to review your wins weekly. Look back at what you accomplished over several days. This gives you a broader perspective. You may notice patterns. You may see areas where you are improving. You may also identify areas that need more attention. This reflection helps you adjust your actions. It keeps you on track. Tracking small wins also improves your emotional state. When you recognize your efforts, you feel a sense of satisfaction. This does not mean you become complacent. It means you acknowledge your progress. This balance is important. It allows you to stay motivated without becoming discouraged. There will be moments when progress feels slow. During these times, your record of wins becomes valuable. It reminds you that you are moving forward, even if it does not feel like it. It gives you proof that your efforts matter. This helps you stay grounded and focused. Avoid comparing your wins to others. Your journey is unique. What matters is your own progress. When you compare, you lose focus. You begin to measure your value based on someone else's path. This weakens your motivation. Stay focused on your own actions. Track your own wins. Build your own momentum. You can also use small rewards to reinforce your wins. When you complete a task or reach a small milestone, allow yourself a simple reward. This could be a break, a moment of rest, or something you enjoy. Keep it balanced. The reward should support your progress, not distract from it. Over time, tracking wins builds a strong sense of self-belief. You begin to see yourself as someone who takes action, someone who follows through. This identity is powerful. It influences your future actions. When you believe in your ability to improve, you are more likely to take on challenges. It is important to stay present in your efforts. Do not rush through your tasks just to check them off. Pay attention to what you are doing. Do it with focus. This increases the quality of your work. It also makes your wins more meaningful. You know that you gave your full effort. When you face setbacks, continue to track your wins. Do not stop the practice. In fact, this is when it matters most. It helps you stay connected to your progress. It prevents you from falling into negative thinking. It reminds you that one setback does not define your journey. Your habits become stronger when they are acknowledged. Tracking wins is a way of reinforcing positive behavior. It tells your mind that these actions are important. It encourages you to repeat them. Over time, they become part of your routine. Keep your system simple. Do not create a complicated method that you cannot maintain. A notebook or a simple note on your phone is enough. The goal is consistency. The easier it is to track your wins, the more likely you are to continue. As you continue this practice, you will notice a shift in your energy. You will feel more focused, more motivated, more in control. This is not because your life has suddenly changed, but because your awareness has changed. You are now seeing the progress that was always there. Your growth is built on small actions repeated over time. These actions may seem insignificant in the moment, but they add up. They shape your habits. They shape your character. Tracking small wins allows you to see this process clearly. Stay committed to this practice. Do it every day. Be honest. Be consistent. Over time, you will build a strong foundation of progress. You will develop confidence in your ability to improve. You will stay focused, even when challenges arise. The path to growth is not always easy, but it becomes clearer when you pay attention to your steps. Each small win is a step forward. Each step matters. Keep tracking. Keep improving. Chapter 3. Reflect honestly on mistakes to improve faster. Mistakes are part of every human life. Yet most people try to avoid facing them. They either ignore them, justify them, or blame someone else. This habit slows growth. It keeps the same problems repeating again and again. The truth is simple. If you do not study your mistakes, you will repeat them. If you face them with honesty, you gain an advantage that most people never develop. Growth does not come from doing everything right. Growth comes from understanding what went wrong and making a better choice next time. This requires courage. It is not comfortable to admit that you made a poor decision or handled something badly. Your mind will try to protect your ego. It will search for excuses. It will shift responsibility away from you. If you follow that path, you remain the same. If you choose honesty, you begin to improve. Start by changing how you see mistakes. They are not something to hide. They are information. Each mistake shows you a gap between where you are and where you need to be. It reveals a weakness in your thinking, your behavior, or your habits. When you understand this, mistakes lose their emotional weight. They become tools for learning. When something goes wrong, pause before reacting. Many people respond immediately with frustration or denial. This reaction blocks clarity. Instead, create a small space between the event and your response. Take a moment to breathe, allow your mind to settle. This simple step helps you think clearly instead of reacting emotionally. Ask yourself direct questions. What exactly happened? What did you do? What could you have done differently? Keep your focus on facts. Avoid vague thinking. Be specific. If you failed to complete a task, ask why. Did you delay starting? Did you lose focus? Did you underestimate the time needed? Clear answers lead to clear improvements. Avoid blaming external factors. It is easy to say that the situation was difficult or that other people caused the problem. While external factors can play a role, your focus should remain on your own actions. This gives you control. If you rely on external reasons, you limit your ability to improve. When you take responsibility, you gain the power to change. Be careful not to turn reflection into self-criticism. The goal is not to attack yourself. The goal is to understand your behavior. Harsh self-judgment creates resistance. It makes you avoid reflection. Instead, approach your mistakes with a calm and steady mindset. Treat them as problems to solve, not as proof of failure. Write down your reflections. Putting your thoughts into words makes them clearer. It helps you organize your thinking. You can see patterns more easily. For example, if you notice that you often delay important tasks, this becomes clear when you write it down. Once you see the pattern, you can take action to change it. Look for repeated behaviors. One mistake may not seem important, but repeated mistakes show a deeper issue. Pay attention to what happens more than once. This is where real improvement happens. If you always lose focus at a certain time of day, adjust your schedule. If you often react emotionally in certain situations, prepare yourself in advance. Turn each mistake into a clear lesson. Do not leave your reflection incomplete. After understanding what went wrong, decide what you will do differently next time. Keep it simple and specific. If you spoke without thinking and caused a problem, your lesson might be to pause before speaking. If you missed a deadline, your lesson might be to start earlier. This step turns awareness into action. Adopt your lessons quickly. Reflection without action has no value. The next time you face a similar situation, remember what you learned. Act differently. This is how improvement happens. Each corrected mistake builds a stronger version of you. Accept that mistakes will continue to happen. No one week reaches a point where they stop making errors completely. The goal is not to eliminate mistakes. The goal is to learn from them faster. When you improve your ability to reflect, you shorten the time between making a mistake and correcting it. Control your emotional response when things go wrong. Strong emotions can cloud your judgment. They can lead to poor decisions. When you feel frustration or disappointment, acknowledge it without letting it take over. Focus on what you can do next. This keeps you moving forward. Be honest about your effort. Sometimes mistakes happen because you did not give your best. This is difficult to admit, but it is necessary. If you recognize that your effort was lacking, you can correct it. If you ignore it, the same pattern will continue. Learn to separate your identity from your actions. Making a mistake does not mean you are a failure. It means you made a poor choice in that moment. This distinction is important. It allows you to stay objective. You can correct your behavior without damaging your confidence. Observe how you react to feedback from others. When someone points out a mistake, your first reaction may be defensive. This is natural, but it is not helpful. Instead of resisting, listen carefully. There may be valuable insight in what they say. Even if the feedback is not delivered perfectly, you can still learn from it. Use quiet time to reflect. Find a moment each day when you can think without distractions. This could be in the evening or early morning. During this time, review your actions, identify any mistakes and learn from them. This habit builds awareness. It keeps you aligned with your goals. Do not delay reflection. The sooner you review a mistake, the clearer it is in your mind. If you wait too long, details fade. Your understanding becomes less accurate. Make it a habit to reflect soon after an event. Stay consistent with this practice. Reflection is not something you do once. It is something you do regularly. Over time, it becomes a natural part of your thinking. You begin to notice your actions more clearly. You make adjustments faster. Be patient with your progress. Improvement takes time. You may repeat the same mistake more than once. This is part of the process. Do not become discouraged. Each attempt to correct your behavior is a step forward. Focus on what you can control. You cannot change the past, but you can change your response. Use your energy to improve your future actions. This mindset keeps you productive. Respect the process of learning. Every skill requires practice. Every improvement requires effort. Mistakes are part of that process. When you accept this, you become more resilient. You stop fearing mistakes and start using them. Keep your standards high. Do not settle for repeated errors without effort to improve. Hold yourself accountable. This builds discipline. It strengthens your character. Notice the progress you make. As you continue to reflect and adjust, you will see changes. You will handle situations better. You will make fewer repeated mistakes. This progress builds confidence. It shows that your efforts are working. Stay focused on long-term growth. Do not expect immediate perfection. Think about where you want to be in the future. Each lesson you learn brings you closer to that goal. Your ability to reflect honestly is a powerful skill. It allows you to learn faster than others. It gives you clarity in your actions. It helps you avoid repeating the same problems. Make this practice part of your daily routine. Be honest with yourself. Stay calm. Focus on learning. Take action on what you discover. Over time, this habit will transform the way you think and act. You are not defined by your mistakes. You are defined by how you respond to them. Choose to learn. Choose to improve. This decision, repeated daily, will lead to steady and meaningful growth. Chapter 4. Practice patience when progress feels slow and difficult. Patience is one of the hardest strengths to live by, because it asks you to stay calm when your mind wants results now. It asks you to keep working when your effort does not seem to pay off quickly. It asks you to trust that steady progress still counts, even when it feels small. Many people give up at this stage. They assume that slow progress means failure. They assume that difficult things mean they are not meant to continue. That is a mistake. Slow growth is still growth. Difficult growth is often the kind that lasts. When progress feels slow, the first thing to understand is that your feelings are not always a true picture of your reality. You may feel stuck while still moving forward. You may feel tired while still becoming stronger. You may feel uncertain while still building skill. The mind often wants proof before it is willing to keep going. But in real life, proof usually comes after repeated effort, not before it. You must learn to act before the visible reward arrives. Patience begins with a clear view of time. Most meaningful change does not happen in a rush. A strong mind is not built in one day. A disciplined body is not built in 1 week. A stable character does not appear after one good decision. These things grow through repeated choices made over time. When you understand this, you stop demanding instant results from yourself. You begin to respect the process. You begin to see that every small action matters, even if it does not feel important yet. One way to practice patience is to stop checking your progress too often. Constantly asking whether you are there yet can make you anxious and frustrated. It can pull your attention away from the work itself. Instead of watching the clock, focus on the next useful action. Ask what you can do today that supports your goal. Then do that one thing fully. This keeps your energy in the present, instead of scattering it across worries about the future. Patience also grows when you stop comparing your pace to other people's pace. Someone else may seem to improve faster. Someone else may seem more talented, more confident, or more successful, but their path is not yours. Their timing is not your timing. Comparison creates pressure that often has nothing to do with your own progress. It can make you abandon a path that is working simply because it is not moving as fast as you expected. Stay focused on your own development. Your job is not to match another person. Your job is to stay faithful to your own effort. There will be moments when you feel like your work is not producing anything. That feeling can be discouraging, but it does not mean your effort is wasted. Many important changes happen quietly before they become visible. A stronger habit begins as a small repeated choice. A clearer mind begins after days of practice. Better judgment often comes after many experiences that seem ordinary at first. Continue even when the results are hidden. Hidden progress still changes you. When frustration rises, do not fight it with more frustration. That only drains your energy. Instead, slow down and return to what is in front of you. Breathe, reset your thoughts. Remind yourself that difficulty is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that the work matters. If the work were easy and automatic, it would not build much within you. The things that test your patience are often the things that shape your character the most. It helps to break large goals into small steps. A big goal can feel heavy when you look at it as one giant task. But when you divide it into smaller actions, it becomes manageable. You do not need to solve your whole future in one day. You only need to do the next right thing. This approach reduces pressure. It makes progress possible on days when motivation is low. It also gives you a sense of movement, which keeps your mind steady. Another part of patience is accepting that not every day will feel productive. Some days you will have energy. Other days you will feel slow, distracted, or uncertain. This is normal. Do not judge your worth by the mood of a single day. A person who is serious about growth keeps showing up even when the day is imperfect. That is where real discipline lives. You are not required to feel strong all the time. You are required to keep moving with honesty and care. Patience becomes easier when you notice how much your effort has already changed you. Look back at where you started. You may not be where you want to be yet, but you are likely not the same person you were before. Maybe you think more carefully now. Maybe you react less quickly. Maybe you understand yourself better. These changes may seem small, but they matter. Recognizing them gives you strength to continue. When progress feels difficult, protect your mind from discouraging stories. People often tell themselves that if success has not arrived quickly, it must not be coming at all. That kind of thinking is harmful. It can make you quit right before growth starts to become visible. A more grounded way to think is this: effort needs time, and time reveals results. You cannot always see the full effect of your work while you are still in the middle of it. Keep your standards high, but keep your expectations realistic. High standards mean you care about doing your best. Realistic expectations mean you understand that learning takes time. This balance is important. If your standards are low, you lose direction. If your expectations are unrealistic, you lose peace. Patience lives in the middle of those two extremes. It gives you discipline without harshness and ambition without panic. You can also practice patience by speaking to yourself with steadiness. Many people become cruel when they are disappointed. They criticize themselves for not moving fast enough. This only makes the burden heavier. A better response is calm self-respect. Remind yourself that slow progress is still progress. Remind yourself that hard seasons are not permanent. Remind yourself that your effort is building something, even if you cannot measure it today. Do not forget that patience is active. It is not passive waiting. It is not sitting still and hoping things change on their own. Patience means continuing to act wisely while accepting that results take time. It means doing the work without demanding instant proof. It means staying committed when the path is longer than you expected. That kind of patience is strong. It is one of the clearest signs of maturity. If you want to become more patient, create habits that support it. Keep a record of what you are working on and review it over time. This helps you see your progress more clearly. Make space in your day for quiet thinking, so your mind does not become overwhelmed by constant pressure. Return often to your reasons. Remember why your goal matters. Purpose makes waiting easier because it gives your effort meaning. You will not always feel patient, and that is fine. Patience is not about feeling calm every moment. It is about choosing calm again and again when your emotions push for impatience. It is about staying loyal to your growth even when the results are slow. It is about trusting that small daily actions, repeated with care, will lead somewhere important. Keep going when the path is hard. Keep going when your progress feels small. Keep going when you cannot yet see the finish line. Every patient step adds to your strength. Every quiet effort shapes your future. What feels slow now may become the very thing that builds the life you want. Chapter 5. Choose better thoughts to guide better actions. Every action begins with a thought. Before you speak, decide, or react, something forms in your mind first. Most people move through their day without noticing this process. They allow thoughts to appear and guide their behavior without question. This lack of awareness creates problems. It leads to impulsive decisions, negative habits, and repeated mistakes. When you begin to observe your thinking, you gain control. When you learn to choose better thoughts, your actions begin to improve in a steady and reliable way. Your mind produces many thoughts throughout the day. Some are useful, some are not. If you treat every thought as true, you give away your control. Not every thought deserves your attention. Some are based on fear. Some come from past experiences that no longer apply. Some are simply reactions without logic. The key is to pause and examine what is happening in your mind before you act on it. Start by building awareness. Pay attention to your internal dialogue. Notice how you speak to yourself when you face a challenge. Do you tell yourself that you cannot do it, or do you focus on what you can try? Do you assume failure, or do you look for a way forward? This awareness is the first step. Without it, you remain on autopilot. With it, you begin to guide your behavior. When you notice a thought that limits you, do not accept it immediately. Question it. Ask yourself if it is useful. Ask if it is based on facts or assumptions. This simple habit can change your direction. For example, if you think, "This is too difficult," pause and examine that thought. Is it truly impossible, or is it just uncomfortable? Often, what feels difficult is simply unfamiliar. By questioning your thoughts, you prevent them from controlling your actions. Choosing better thoughts does not mean pretending everything is easy. It means focusing on what is within your control. Instead of thinking about how hard a task is, focus on the next step you can take. Instead of thinking about what might go wrong, focus on what you can do to prepare. This shift in focus leads to better decisions. It keeps your mind grounded and practical. Your thoughts influence your emotional state. When your thinking is negative, your emotions follow. This affects your energy, your focus, and your behavior. When your thinking is clear and steady, your emotions become more stable. This does not mean you will never feel negative emotions. It means you will not be controlled by them. You will respond with intention instead of reacting without thought. A practical way to guide your thinking is to create simple rules for yourself. These rules act as a filter. For example, you can decide that you will not entertain thoughts that lead to excuses. You can decide that you will focus on solutions instead of problems. When a thought appears, measure it against your rule. If it does not support your growth, let it pass. If it supports your progress, act on it. Your environment also affects your thoughts. What you see, hear, and read influences your mindset. If you surround yourself with negative content, your thinking will reflect that. If you choose content that supports growth, your thinking becomes stronger. Be intentional about what you allow into your mind. This is a daily decision. It shapes how you think and how you act. Another useful habit is to slow down your reactions. Many poor decisions happen because people act too quickly. A thought appears, and they follow it without pause. Create a habit of waiting for a moment before you respond. This small delay gives you time to choose a better thought. It allows you to act with control instead of impulse. Clarity in thinking comes from simplicity. Do not overcomplicate your thoughts. When faced with a situation, focus on what is real and immediate. Avoid creating unnecessary worries. Stick to facts. This approach reduces confusion. It helps you make decisions that are grounded and effective. It is also important to accept that you cannot control every thought that appears. The mind will produce random and sometimes unhelpful ideas. This is normal. Your control lies in what you do with those thoughts. You can choose to engage with them or let them go. This choice is where your strength lies. Train your mind to look for solutions. When a problem appears, your first thought should be about what you can do next. This does not mean ignoring the problem. It means addressing it directly. A solution-focused mindset leads to action. It keeps you moving forward instead of getting stuck in frustration. Your beliefs shape your thoughts. If you believe that you are capable of learning, your thoughts will support effort. If you believe that you are limited, your thoughts will create hesitation. Examine your beliefs. Ask yourself if they are helping you or holding you back. Replace limiting beliefs with ones that support growth. This is not about blind optimism. It is about choosing beliefs that lead to useful actions. Discipline in thinking requires practice. At first, it may feel difficult to monitor your thoughts. You may forget or get distracted. This is part of the process. Keep into awareness. Each time you notice your thinking, you strengthen your control. Over time, this becomes easier. Your actions are a direct result of your thinking. When your thoughts are clear, your actions become consistent. When your thoughts are scattered, your actions become unreliable. By improving your thinking, you improve your behavior. This leads to better results in every area of your life. Use simple reminders to guide your thinking. You can write a few key principles and keep them where you can see them. For example, remind yourself to stay focused on what you can control. Remind yourself to act with intention. These reminders keep your mind aligned with your goals. When you face uncertainty, choose thoughts that support calm and focus. Instead of assuming the worst, consider what is most likely and what you can do about it. This approach reduces anxiety. It allows you to act with clarity even in uncertain situations. It is important to stay honest with yourself. Do not use positive thinking as a way to avoid reality. Face situations as they are. Then choose thoughts that help you respond effectively. This balance keeps your thinking grounded and practical. Your daily routine should include time for quiet reflection. This helps you review your thinking. It allows you to identify patterns. You may notice that certain situations trigger negative thoughts. Once you are aware of this, you can prepare a better response. Control over your thoughts leads to control over your actions. This control builds confidence. When you know that you can guide your thinking, you trust yourself more. This trust allows you to take on challenges with a steady mindset. Avoid mental clutter. Too many thoughts at once can create confusion. Focus on one task at a time. Give it your full attention. This improves the quality of your work. It also makes your thinking more effective. Stay consistent in this practice. Choosing better thoughts is not a one-time effort. It is a daily discipline. Each day presents new situations. Each situation requires awareness and choice. Over time, this discipline becomes part of your nature. When you make a poor choice, review the thought that led to it. Understand where it came from. Adjust your thinking for the future. This process strengthens your awareness. It helps you avoid repeating the same mistake. Your mind is a powerful tool. When it is guided well, it supports your growth. When it is left unchecked, it can hold you back. Take responsibility for your thinking. Choose thoughts that lead to clear and effective actions. Every day gives you the opportunity to practice this. Pay attention to your thoughts. Question them. Choose the ones that support your goals. Act on them with focus and discipline. This simple practice, repeated consistently, leads to steady improvement. Your life is shaped by your actions, and your actions are shaped by your thoughts. When you improve your thinking, you improve your life. Keep it simple. Stay aware. Choose wisely. Act with intention. This is how you build a strong and reliable mind. Chapter 6. Learn from feedback and turn it into growth. Feedback is one of the fastest ways to grow, if you know how to receive it. Yet many people react to feedback as if it is an attack. They feel exposed. They become defensive. They hear the words but miss the lesson. This is a costly habit because it blocks improvement. A person who refuses feedback stays trapped in the same patterns. A person who learns from it becomes stronger faster. The difference is not luck. It is the willingness to listen with honesty and use what is given. To grow well, you must first accept that feedback is part of life. No one sees themselves perfectly. Other people notice things you miss. They see your tone. They see your habits. They see how your choices affect them. Sometimes their view is accurate. Sometimes it is incomplete. Either way, it can still help you learn. The mature response is not to defend yourself immediately. The mature response is to listen carefully and think before reacting. This requires humility. Humility does not mean you see yourself as small or weak. It means you understand that you are still learning. It means you are open to correction. It means you do not protect your pride so tightly that you reject useful truth. When you stay open, you gain access to information that can improve your life in real ways. That information may come from a teacher, a parent, a friend, a coworker, or even someone you did not expect to learn from. The first step is to hear feedback without interrupting. Many people listen only enough to prepare a response. That is not real listening. Real listening means giving the other person your full attention. Even if their delivery is imperfect, even if the words are hard to hear, stay present long enough to understand what they are trying to say. Often the value is hidden inside the message, not in the style of delivery. Once you hear the feedback, pause before reacting. Do not rush to explain yourself. Do not move instantly into defense. Give your mind a moment to settle. Ask whether there is truth in what you heard. Ask whether the criticism points to a pattern rather than a single mistake. Ask what part of the message you can use. This pause gives you space to think clearly instead of emotionally. Not every piece of feedback is correct. Some people misunderstand. Some people speak from frustration. Some people project their own issues onto you. That is why you must filter feedback with care. You do not have to accept everything, but you should consider everything. This is where wisdom matters. Separate emotion from evaluation. Look for the useful part. Discard what is unhelpful without becoming closed off. A strong person does not fear being corrected. A strong person knows that correction can prevent bigger problems later. For example, if someone tells you that you often speak too quickly, that may help you become a better communicator. If someone tells you that you miss details in your work, that may help you improve your focus. If someone points out that your mood affects the people around you, that may help you become more aware of your presence. Each of these insights can lead to real growth if you use them well. One of the best ways to turn feedback into growth is to ask follow-up questions. If the feedback is unclear, ask for an example. Ask what situation they noticed. Ask what they would suggest instead. This shows that you are serious about learning. It also helps you avoid misunderstanding. Clear feedback is more useful than vague criticism. Write down important feedback. Memory can blur details, especially when emotions are involved. A simple note helps you remember what was said and reflect on it later. When you look back, you may notice patterns. You may see that different people have mentioned the same issue in different ways. That is a strong signal that the feedback matters. Repeated feedback usually points to something worth addressing. Do not treat feedback as a verdict on your worth. It is not a statement that you are bad or incapable. It is a signal that something can be improved. This distinction matters because if you take feedback too personally, you may shut down. But if you treat it as information, you can use it to guide your next steps. You are not being judged as a person. You are being shown an opportunity to grow. Growth happens when you act on the feedback you receive. Hearing it is not enough. Thinking about it is not enough. You must make a change. That change can be small. If you were told that you talk over others, begin by pausing more in conversations. If you were told that your work lacks structure, start organizing your tasks more clearly. If you were told that you avoid difficult conversations, practice facing them with calm honesty. Real improvement comes from action, not agreement. Be careful not to only accept feedback that feels comfortable. Easy praise can make you feel good, but it rarely changes you. Honest feedback may be uncomfortable, yet it often has the most value. That does not mean you should chase criticism. It means you should not avoid the truth just because it challenges you. The path of growth often includes moments where your ego is tested. Stay steady through those moments. You also need to learn how to give yourself feedback. At the end of the day, review your actions with honesty. Ask what went well and what needs work. This keeps you from becoming dependent on others to point out your blind spots. Self-reflection makes you more aware and less defensive. It helps you catch issues early before they grow into bigger problems. Sometimes the most useful feedback will not come in a formal conversation. It may show up in how people respond to you. It may appear in repeated misunderstandings, in missed opportunities, or in results that do not match your effort. Pay attention to these signals. Life gives feedback in many forms. The wise person pays attention and learns. When you receive criticism, try not to respond from wounded pride. Pride wants to protect image. Growth wants to protect truth. These two are not the same. If you choose image, you may look strong for a moment but remain stuck. If you choose truth, you may feel uncomfortable at first, but you become better in the long run. That is a better trade. Feedback becomes powerful when you use it as a mirror. It shows you what you cannot easily see on your own. It reveals habits that may be limiting you. It helps you adjust before small issues become major ones. In this way, feedback is not a threat. It is a tool. Keep your mind open, but keep your standards high. Listen carefully, evaluate honestly. Act deliberately. Do not rush to defend yourself. Do not ignore repeated patterns. Do not let pride block your progress. Use correction as a guide, not as an insult. Over time, this habit will make you wiser, steadier, and more capable. The people who grow the fastest are often the ones who learn the fastest. They do not waste time protecting their ego. They use every honest comment as a chance to improve. They become stronger because they are willing to see clearly. You can do the same. Stay open, stay calm, stay willing to learn. Turn feedback into growth, and you will keep becoming better than you were yesterday. Chapter 7. Strengthen discipline by doing what matters first. Discipline is not built through grand promises or strong emotions. It is built through quiet decisions that you repeat every day. One of the most important of these decisions is choosing to do what matters first. Most people start their day reacting to whatever appears in front of them. They check messages, scroll through distractions, or handle easy tasks that require little effort. By the time they reach what truly matters, their energy is low and their focus is scattered. This pattern weakens discipline and delays progress. Doing what matters first changes the structure of your day. It places your most important work at the point where your mind is most clear. It reduces the chance of avoidance. It builds a habit of facing responsibility instead of delaying it. This single shift can create a strong foundation for growth. To apply this, you must first define what truly matters. Not everything that feels urgent is important. Many tasks demand attention but do not contribute to your long-term progress. What matters are the actions that move your life forward in a meaningful way. This could be your work, your learning, your health, or your responsibilities. Take time to identify these areas clearly. Without clarity, you will continue to spend energy on things that do not serve you. Once you know what matters, make it the first commitment of your day. Do not leave it for later. Do not wait for the right mood. Start with it while your mind is fresh. This requires intention. It may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you are used to delaying difficult tasks. That discomfort is part of the process. It is a sign that you are moving in the right direction. Your mind will try to avoid effort. It will suggest easier alternatives. It will offer reasons to delay. This is where discipline is tested. You must recognize these thoughts and choose action anyway. Do not argue with yourself for too long. Make a clear decision and begin. Action reduces resistance. Once you start, it becomes easier to continue. Create a simple plan for your day. Decide in advance what your most important task is. Write it down. Make it specific. When the day begins, there should be no confusion about where to start. This removes hesitation. It allows you to move directly into meaningful work. Limit distractions during this time. Your focus is a valuable resource. Protect it. Keep your environment clear. Put away anything that pulls your attention away. Even small interruptions can break your concentration. When you give your full attention to important work, you increase the quality of your effort. It is also important to manage your energy. Doing what matters first does not mean working without rest. It means using your best energy for your most valuable tasks. Pay attention to your natural rhythm. Some people focus better in the morning, others perform better later in the day. Find your peak time and use it wisely. Do not confuse activity with progress. You can stay busy all day and still avoid what truly matters. Discipline requires honesty. Ask yourself if your actions are aligned with your priorities. If they are not, adjust your behavior. This awareness keeps you on track. When you complete your most important task early, you create momentum. You feel a sense of progress. This positive feeling can carry into the rest of your day. It reduces stress because you have already handled what matters most. Even if the rest of the day becomes unpredictable, you have made meaningful progress. Avoid the habit of waiting for motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It changes with your mood and circumstances. Discipline does not depend on feeling ready. It depends on making a decision and following through. When you act without waiting for motivation, you build strength. You prove to yourself that you can take control of your actions. Set clear boundaries around your time. If you allow every request to interrupt your work, you will struggle to stay focused. Learn to protect the time you have set for important tasks. This does not mean ignoring your responsibilities. It means organizing your time so that your priorities are respected. Start small if needed. If you are not used to this approach, begin with a short period of focused work. Even 30 minutes can make a difference. The goal is to build the habit. As your discipline grows, you can increase the duration. Consistency is more important than intensity. You do not need to have a perfect day. You need to repeat this practice daily. Over time, it becomes natural. You begin to start your day with purpose instead of confusion. There will be days when you do not feel capable. You may feel tired or distracted. These are the days that matter most. When you act despite discomfort, you strengthen your discipline. You show yourself that your actions are not controlled by your mood. Keep your expectations realistic. You may not complete everything perfectly. Focus on doing your best with what you have. Progress is built through effort, not perfection. Review your day with honesty. At the end of the day, ask yourself if you focused on what mattered. If you did, acknowledge it. If you did not, understand why. Use this reflection to improve your next day. Discipline grows through repetition. Each time you choose to do what matters first, you reinforce a positive pattern. Each time you delay, you weaken that pattern. Be aware of these choices. They shape your behavior over time. Your actions define your character. When you consistently prioritize what matters, you become reliable. You build trust in yourself. This trust is important. It gives you confidence in your ability to handle challenges. Do not let small distractions take control of your day. Stay focused on your priorities. Even if unexpected tasks appear, return to what matters as soon as possible. This keeps your direction clear. Remember that your time is limited. Every day is an opportunity to move forward. Use it wisely. Focus on actions that create real value. Avoid wasting energy on things that do not matter. As you continue this practice, you will notice a change in your mindset. You will feel more in control. You will waste less time. You will make steady progress. This is the result of consistent discipline. Stay committed to this approach. It may feel difficult at first, but it becomes easier with practice. Each day you follow through, you build strength. Each day you delay, you lose momentum. Choose wisely. Doing what matters first is a simple principle, but it requires effort. It demands clarity, focus, and consistency. When you apply it daily, it transforms your habits, it strengthens your discipline, it moves your life forward in a meaningful way. Keep your focus clear. Act with intention. Start with what matters. Repeat this process every day. Over time, this habit will shape your character and lead you towards steady growth. Chapter 8. Treat every setback as a lesson for growth. Setbacks are part of every honest life. They arrive in many forms. A plan fails, a promise breaks, a door closes. An effort does not produce the result you expected. In those moments, many people feel defeated and begin to doubt themselves. They think the setback means they are not good enough, or that the path was never right in the first place. That is a narrow way to see it. A setback is not only a problem, it is also information. It shows you where your thinking needs correction. It shows you where your effort needs refinement. It shows you what still needs to be strengthened within you. If you want to grow, you must stop treating setbacks as a final statement about your ability. A setback is an event, not an identity. It is something that happened, not something that defines who you are. This matters because the mind often tries to turn one hard moment into a story about your worth. That story is false. You are not measured by one failure, one mistake, or one delay. You are measured by how you respond after it happens. The first step is to remain calm when things go wrong. Strong emotion can distort the truth. If you react too quickly, you may exaggerate the problem or judge yourself too harshly. Pause and breathe. Allow the moment to settle. A steady mind can see more clearly than a panicked one. Calm does not remove the problem, but it gives you the power to face it properly. When your mind is clear, you can ask better questions and find better answers. One of the best questions you can ask after a setback is simple. What can this teach me? That question changes the entire direction of your thinking. Instead of focusing only on what was lost, you begin looking for the lesson hidden inside the experience. Maybe you were unprepared. Maybe you moved too fast. Maybe you ignored a warning sign. Maybe you depended too much on hope and not enough on structure. These are not comfortable truths, but they are useful. Truth is often uncomfortable before it becomes helpful. Do not waste time arguing with reality. What happened has already happened. The useful work begins when you accept it clearly. Acceptance does not mean approval. It means you stop resisting the fact that something went wrong. Once you stop fighting the past, you can put your energy into shaping the next step. This is where growth begins. People who keep replaying disappointment in their minds often stay trapped in it. People who accept it and learn from it move forward faster. It helps to review the setback with honesty. Ask what part was under your control and what part was not. Focus your attention on the part you can change. You cannot rewrite the past, but you can study it. You can notice the choices that led to the outcome. You can identify the habit that needs attention. You can see where preparation was weak or where judgment was clouded. This kind of review is not about blame. It is about building a stronger future. A setback often reveals a gap between intention and execution. You may have wanted the right result, but your actions did not fully support it. That gap is valuable because it shows you exactly where to improve. Maybe you need more patience. Maybe you need better planning. Maybe you need to learn a skill you do not yet have. Maybe you need to be more consistent. When you identify the gap, you can close it. This is how a setback becomes a stepping stone. Be careful not to become bitter when life pushes back. Bitterness weakens your mind. It turns one bad experience into a long-lasting burden. It makes you defensive and closed. Growth requires a different spirit. It requires a willingness to stay open even when life feels heavy. This does not mean pretending everything is fine. It means refusing to let disappointment harden you. A person who stays teachable in difficulty becomes wiser than a person who only grows when things are easy. Sometimes a setback is showing you that your pace was too fast. You may have moved before you were ready. You may have built on weak ground. In that case, the lesson is not to give up. The lesson is to slow down and strengthen the base. Many people hate this part because it feels like a delay. But delay is not always loss. Sometimes it is protection. Sometimes it is the very thing that keeps a future failure from becoming much worse. Other times a setback shows that your goals need better structure. A dream without a plan can quickly collapse under pressure. If that happened, do not attack the dream. Improve the plan, make it clearer, make it more realistic. Break it into smaller parts, add more support. This is what mature growth looks like. It does not panic when something fails. It adjusts. It learns. It continues. When you are hurt by a setback, do not isolate yourself from truth. Talk to someone wise if needed. A good conversation can reveal what you cannot see alone. Sometimes another person can point out the lesson faster than you can find it on your own. Stay open to that. Wisdom grows through reflection, but it also grows through honest discussion. You should also train yourself to look for patterns. One setback may be random. Repeated setbacks often are not. If the same kind of problem keeps appearing, there is likely a deeper issue that needs attention. Maybe you are avoiding responsibility. Maybe you are underestimating the work required. Maybe you keep trusting the wrong people. Maybe you are not listening to your own experience. Patterns matter. They show you where real change is needed. A strong response to setbacks includes patience with yourself. Improvement does not happen in a single moment. You may need several attempts before the lesson becomes clear. That does not mean you are failing. It means you are learning through experience, which is one of the most durable forms of learning. When you accept this, you stop demanding instant mastery from yourself. You give yourself the space to grow properly. There is value in asking what the setback has made visible. It may have revealed weaknesses you did not notice before. It may have exposed where your discipline is thin. It may have shown you who truly supports your growth and who only supports you when things are easy. These revelations are painful, but they are useful. Clarity is often uncomfortable before it becomes liberating. The most important thing is not to stop moving because of the setback. Take the lesson and keep going. A setback only becomes defeat when you allow it to end your effort. If you use it well, it becomes part of your strength. You become more careful, more aware, and more capable. You stop expecting life to be simple and start responding to it with greater wisdom. Every setback can teach you something about endurance. It can teach you how to stay steady under pressure. It can teach you how to rebuild after disappointment. It can teach you how to keep your dignity when results fall short. These lessons are not small. They shape your character in deep ways. They prepare you for future responsibilities, future challenges, and future success. Do not rush to erase painful experiences from memory. Review them with purpose. Ask what they changed in you. Ask what they revealed. Ask how you can move forward with more strength than before. This is how suffering becomes useful. This is how disappointment turns into discipline. This is how failure becomes a teacher instead of a prison. When you treat every setback as a lesson, you stop fearing mistakes so deeply. You become more resilient. You trust that even hard moments can serve your growth. That does not make life easier, but it makes you stronger. And strength matters. It gives you the ability to keep going when others give up. It gives you the calm to think clearly under pressure. It gives you the courage to begin again with greater wisdom. Keep this mindset close. Learn from what hurts. Study what breaks. Adjust what fails. Move forward with a clearer mind and a steadier heart. A setback is never the end unless you make it one. Used wisely, it becomes one more step on the path to becoming better. Chapter 9. Surround yourself with people who support improvement. Your environment shapes you more than most people realize. Not only your physical surroundings, but the people you spend time with every day. Their habits, their mindset, their conversations, and their attitudes slowly influence your own thinking. Over time, you start to reflect the energy you are exposed to most often. This is why choosing the right people around you is not a small decision. It is a key part of personal growth. If you want to improve your life, you must pay attention to who is influencing your direction. Some people encourage growth. They challenge you to think better, act better, and stay disciplined. Others slowly pull you away from progress. They may not do it directly, but their habits and mindset can affect your focus. A person who constantly complains can make you more negative. A person who avoids responsibility can make discipline feel less important. These influences are subtle but powerful. Surrounding yourself with people who support improvement does not mean you need perfect individuals around you. It means choosing people who are moving forward in their own way. People who are trying to learn. People who take responsibility for their actions. People who are willing to grow. When you are around this kind of mindset, it becomes easier to stay focused on your own progress. Start by observing your current circle without judgment. Look at how you feel after spending time with certain people. Do you feel motivated or drained? Do you feel focused or distracted? Do your conversations lead to growth or repetition of the same problems? This awareness helps you understand the influence your environment has on you. Many people ignore this step and wonder why they struggle to improve. The truth is, constant exposure to the wrong mindset can slow down progress even when effort is present. It is important to understand that support for improvement is not always about agreement. The right people do not always tell you what you want to hear. Sometimes they challenge you, sometimes they question your decisions. Sometimes they point out where you are not being honest with yourself. This kind of interaction is valuable. It keeps you grounded. It prevents you from becoming comfortable with excuses. At the same time, avoid relationships that consistently pull you away from your goals. If every interaction leads to distraction, negativity, or avoidance of responsibility, that environment is not helping you grow. You do not need to create conflict, but you do need to be aware of the effect it has on your mindset. Growth requires energy, and your energy should be protected. Choose people who take action in their own lives. People who are working on something meaningful tend to understand discipline and effort. Even if their goals are different from yours, their mindset can inspire you to stay consistent. Being around people who are building something helps you stay focused on building your own life. Also, pay attention to how conversations affect your thinking. Conversations can either expand your awareness or limit it. If every discussion stays at the level of complaints, gossip, or repeated problems with no action, your mind becomes stuck in the same pattern. But if conversations include ideas, solutions, reflection, and learning, your thinking becomes sharper. You start to see possibilities instead of limitations. It is also important to become the kind of person others can grow around. Surrounding yourself with supportive people is not only about what you receive. It is also about what you give. When you take responsibility for your own growth, you naturally attract similar people. When you focus on improvement, you become part of that environment for others as well. This creates a healthy cycle of growth. You do not need a large circle. A few strong connections are enough. What matters is quality, not quantity. One or two people who encourage discipline and honesty can have a strong impact on your direction. It is better to have a small group that supports your progress than a large group that keeps you distracted. Be honest with yourself about comfort. Sometimes people stay in certain environments because it feels familiar, not because it supports their growth. Familiarity can be misleading. It feels safe, even when it is not helpful. Growth often requires stepping away from what is familiar and choosing what is better for your future. This can feel uncomfortable at first, but it leads to long-term improvement. You may also need to limit exposure to certain influences. This does not always mean cutting people out completely. It can mean reducing time spent in conversations that do not support your direction. It can mean being more intentional about how you spend your energy. Your time is limited, and where you invest it matters. Pay attention to how your mindset changes when you spend time with different people. If you notice that you become more focused, more motivated, and more responsible after certain interactions, those are positive influences. If you notice the opposite, that is also important information. Your awareness is the first step in making better choices. Supportive environments also encourage accountability. When you are around people who value growth, you are more likely to stay committed to your own goals. You do not want to fall behind. This natural pressure can be positive if it pushes you toward better habits. It helps you stay consistent even when motivation is low. At the same time, avoid comparison that creates pressure without progress. The goal is not to compete with others, but to grow alongside them. Healthy environments inspire effort without creating unnecessary stress. They encourage progress without judgment. You should also learn to recognize when you need space for independent thinking. Even in supportive environments, your personal decisions matter most. Take time to reflect on your own goals without outside influence. This helps you stay clear about your direction. Other people can guide and support you, but your path is your responsibility. As you continue to grow, your environment may naturally change. Some relationships will strengthen, others may fade. This is part of life. Growth often leads to different priorities. Do not force connections that no longer align with your direction. Let relationships evolve naturally based on shared values and mutual respect. Building the right environment takes time. It is not something that changes overnight. It requires awareness, patience, and consistent choices. Every interaction is a small decision about what kind of influence you allow into your life. Over time, these small decisions shape your mindset and your habits. Surrounding yourself with people who support improvement does not guarantee an easy path. You will still face challenges, you will still need discipline. But it makes the process clearer. It reduces unnecessary distraction. It strengthens your focus. It helps you stay aligned with your goals. In the end, your growth is deeply connected to the people around you. Choose wisely. Pay attention to influence. Stay aware of how your environment affects your thinking. Seek out those who encourage honesty, effort, and progress. Become part of that kind of environment yourself. When you build the right circle, improvement becomes more natural. Discipline becomes easier to maintain. Focus becomes stronger. And your journey toward becoming better each day becomes more stable and consistent. Chapter 10. Commit to consistent effort and become better daily. Real growth is not built through sudden changes or intense bursts of effort. It is built through consistency. The quiet decision to show up every day, even when you do not feel ready, even when progress feels slow, even when motivation is missing. Most people underestimate this. They search for quick results and dramatic improvements, but real transformation happens in steady repetition. The person you become is shaped by what you do every day, not what you do once in a while. Consistency is not exciting at first. It does not always feel rewarding in the moment. Some days will feel ordinary. Some days will feel tiring. Some days will feel like nothing is changing. This is where most people give up. They assume that if results are not immediate, their effort is not working. But real improvement does not announce itself quickly. It builds silently. It accumulates in ways you do not always notice until much later. To commit to consistent effort, you must first accept that progress takes time. You cannot rush personal development. Skills, discipline, and mindset all develop through repetition. Every small action you take today adds to who you become tomorrow. Even when the change feels invisible, it is still happening. This understanding is what allows you to stay steady when others lose patience. Start by simplifying your approach. Do not overload yourself with too many goals at once. Focus on a few meaningful actions that you can repeat daily. The goal is not intensity. The goal is sustainability. A simple habit done every day is more powerful than a complex plan that you cannot maintain. When your actions are simple, you are more likely to stay consistent. There will be moments when your energy is low. In those moments, discipline matters more than motivation. Motivation comes and goes. It depends on mood and circumstances. Discipline is what keeps you moving when motivation is absent. It is the decision to act even when you do not feel like it. Each time you follow through despite resistance, you strengthen your ability to stay consistent in the future. One of the most important parts of consistency is showing up on difficult days. Anyone can act when everything feels easy. The real test is whether you continue when things feel heavy or uncertain. These are the moments that shape your character. When you keep going during discomfort, you prove to yourself that your actions are not controlled by temporary feelings. Do not wait for perfect conditions. There will always be reasons to delay. The timing will never feel perfect. If you wait for everything to align, you will spend most of your time waiting instead of growing. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can today. Improvement does not require ideal circumstances. It requires steady action. Track your consistency in a simple way. This helps you see your progress over time. Even when results are not immediately visible, your record of effort shows that you are moving forward. This builds confidence. It reinforces the habit. It reminds you that your work is not going unnoticed. Even if progress feels slow, be patient with yourself when you break consistency. It will happen at times. No one is perfect. The important part is not the mistake itself, but how quickly you return. Do not allow one missed day to turn into many. The faster you return to your routine, the stronger your discipline becomes. Recovery matters as much as performance. Consistency also requires letting go of unrealistic expectations. You do not need to improve dramatically every single day. Some days will bring visible progress. Other days will feel like maintenance. Both are part of the process. Maintenance is not failure, it is stability. Stability is what allows long-term growth to continue without collapse. Focus on identity rather than outcome. Instead of thinking about what you want to achieve, think about who you want to become. A consistent person is someone who shows up regularly, regardless of conditions. When you identify with this mindset, your actions begin to align naturally. You do not rely on force, you rely on identity. There will be times when you question whether your effort is enough. This is normal. Doubt often appears when results are not immediate. In those moments, return to your process. Ask yourself if you are still showing up, if you are still taking action, if you are still moving in the right direction. Trust the process more than the temporary feeling of uncertainty. Avoid the trap of comparing your progress with others. Everyone moves at a different pace. Some people may appear to progress faster, but you do not see their full journey. Comparison creates unnecessary pressure and weakens focus. Your only responsibility is to stay consistent with your own effort. That is where real growth happens. Build routines that support consistency. When your actions are part of a routine, they require less mental effort. You do not need to decide every time what to do next. You simply follow the structure you have created. This reduces resistance and makes it easier to stay on track. Your environment also plays a role in consistency. If your surroundings are full of distractions, staying focused becomes harder. If your environment supports your goals, consistency becomes easier. Set up your space in a way that reduces friction and encourages action. Small adjustments can make a big difference over time. Understand that effort compounds. A single day of work may not feel significant, but repeated effort creates momentum. Over weeks and months, this momentum builds into visible change. Many people stop too early because they only measure short-term results. Those who continue long enough begin to see the real effect of their consistency. Stay honest about your effort. Do not overestimate what you have done, but also do not underestimate it. Be accurate. Recognize your actions clearly. This honesty helps you stay grounded. It prevents both false confidence and unnecessary discouragement. When progress feels slow, remind yourself that consistency is not about speed. It is about direction. If you are consistently moving forward, even in small steps, you are improving. The size of the step matters less than the fact that you keep taking it. There is strength in repetition. Repeating the right action shapes your mind, your habits, and your character. Over time, what once required effort becomes natural. This is how transformation happens, not through sudden change, but through repeated commitment. Do not wait for inspiration to act. Act first and inspiration often follows. Action creates clarity. It builds momentum. It strengthens belief in your ability to continue. Each time you act, you reinforce the habit of consistency. At some point, consistency becomes part of who you are. You no longer see it as something you try to do. It becomes your default behavior. You show up because that is what you do. This is the level where real growth becomes stable and lasting. Committed to this path with patience and honesty. There is no shortcut to becoming better every day. There is only the choice to continue, one day at a time. Some days will feel easy, some will feel difficult. Both are part of the journey. What matters is that you keep going. Your future is shaped by your daily effort. Not by occasional burst, but by consistent action. Stay committed. Stay steady. Keep showing up. Over time, this simple discipline will transform not only what you achieve, but who you become.